Hello and welcome back to the JENEsys Edge product line. My name is Charles Johnson, lead trainer and technical engineer at Lynxspring. And today we're going to be talking about how to make an Edge device, a BACnet device. So in the video series that we've been doing, we have this AHU 101, and we did a BACnet integration of a chiller. And this was done via BACnet over IP. Well, what you may not have noticed is that when I double click and go to the BACnet manager, you see that it is BACnet over IP, but the vendor is Tritium and the model is a Niagara 4 station. Well, I have an Edge 414, and what I did is I actually made this a BACnet device and I was able to bring it in. So what I would like to do today is to show you how to make an Edge controller a BACnet device and bring it in as a Niagara or as a BACnet integration to my current device. I have another controller here that's an air handler, and I have a bunch of points and whatnot. However, I do not have a BACnet network. So the first thing I need to make sure is I'm going to go to the platform of this controller, and I'm going to go to my software manager, and I'm going to see whether or not I have the BACnet module installed on this controller. Now, I'm most certain that I do. I don't really wipe out a lot of my controllers. I normally just get rid of a station. However, let's go ahead and scroll down and take a look at whether or not the BACnet module is in here. And I'll just go ahead and speed this process up. Okay, so I do have BACnet in here, which is good. That's actually what we need in order to get this process started. So I'm going to go ahead and I have my palette sidebar open. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the open palette to bring up the open palette dialog button. And I'm just going to start typing in BAC. And I'm going to look for my BACnet module and just click OK. So now that I have my BACnet palette open, I'm going to drag a BACnet network into my drivers and I name it BACnet network. And now this setup process that we're going to be doing to make this a BACnet device should be fairly familiar because we already did this in our first device. But there's nothing wrong with, reinforcing these steps here. I'm going to go ahead and reorder these to make sure that my BACnet driver is here and my schedules folder is at the bottommost view that I have. Okay, so what do we need to do in order to make sure that our BACnet network works? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to go to the local device and change its local device ID. So right now I have 181, so I'm going to do 181 000 and make sure that it is a unique device ID. Step 2, I'm going to go ahead and expand my BACnet COM, expand my network folder. I'm going to go to my IP port. I'm going to go ahead and change the network number to 1000. That's step 2. Step 3 is to change any link settings. So with the adapter, I'm going to do Ethernet 0, which should bring up the primary port. And then I'm going to go ahead and enable the device. So let's go ahead and save. And we see 192.168.1.1. That's great. So let's go ahead and double click on the BACnet network to make sure that we can see that we have a Discover button. I'm going to go ahead and select Discover just to make sure. Okay, so it's got 1000 here. So if I go attempt to discover, and I'm going to hit Send Global here so I can see all my networks that I have. Fantastic. I can see all the devices that I currently have here. Okay, so that is the way to enable the BACnet network. And now we need to export our points to BACnet. Well, how do we do that? Under the local device, we have an export table. Now, if I double click this export table, I can go ahead and discover and see all the objects that we have here in the path. So first I'm going to do those. I just want to create a folder here, this export folder, and I'm going to just name this AHU underscore 01. And I'll give this an instance number of 1. And I'm going to go ahead and make it the description, or actually we'll do 181001. And my description is going to be air or AHU BACnet points folder. Okay, so now that I have this folder here, I'm going to go ahead and click it, and it still brings up the BACnet Export Manager, but now I just have a folder here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select Discover, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under Config. I'm going to expand Config, expand the drivers, the Onyx network, the points, and AHU01 here. And now I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And this should bring up all the points that I would possibly want in the controller. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and select all the points that I would like. System enable, return fan, discharge air temp, outside air, building static, release static. Then some set points here. We'll do a heating valve as well. Actually, no heating valve. Let's just assume that this is a VAV air handler only with a chill water valve. Building static set point, cooling enable set point here. No preheat relief static. I think that's actually all I need here. We'll do cooling enable as well. Okay, so now that I have all the points that I would like to export, I'm going to select Add. Now here, a lot of these are just going to be non-writable points, but there are a few that I would like to be writable. And we can make a variety of points here, binary inputs, analog inputs, binary outputs, analog outputs, BACnet binary value descriptor, analog value descriptor. Now, when it comes to something that shows prioritized, this means that it is going to be a writable point at a specific priority. So we can actually show you all the priorities that we can write to, and I'll get to that in a moment. So for my AHU1, this stuff here, I'm going to keep everything named the same. Now, what would be really good here to do is to go ahead and change the description of each point. So when I discover these into my air handler device, I can actually see what they are rather than just seeing binary input 0, input 1, 2, etc. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video right now, just so I can actually take the time to write everything in here and then get to the prioritized descriptors that I want. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, I changed the descriptors of everything here. So when we discover, we're going to be able to see what the point actually is instead of just seeing these binary outputs and analog inputs and whatnot. Okay, so now we have some things that we want to make writable. And in this particular case, I'm going to do the system enable and anything and any set point that we have. Any of my my speed commands, fan commands, that stuff like that, I'm not going to make writable. Typically, that's not something that's writable even in a BACnet integration anyway. I mean, if you wanted to, you could, but for my example, I'm not going to. So I'm going to start with my system enable. And right now, currently, it's set to a BACnet binary input descriptor. I'm going to go ahead and make it now a BACnet binary value prioritized descriptor. And when I do that, now it changes it from BI6 to a binary value 1. And now I get to choose the priorities that I want. And so I'm going to go ahead and select priority 8. Let's say we're going to do priority 1. And we'll do 8 through 16 as well, just to keep it all there. Okay. And I'm not going to select OK here because I'm going to go through and change um, my other set points now. So I'm going to go ahead and change all of these, all of the set points to a BACnet value prioritized descriptor. And you see where it's changed analog output 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go ahead and give them all the same priorities to write. So we can see here everything is going to be writable that we want there. And now we're going to go ahead and okay. One thing I did not know that this did, but it makes sense. Because I changed it from an input to a BACnet or a value, like a binary value or an analog value descriptor, the description goes away. So we just have to write that back in here. So system enable. I actually didn't know it did that. So it's good to see that happen here. Discharge error set point. Because I think normally I just set this all up one by one, but I wanted to show you the multi-select set a pressure set point, cooling enable set point. Go ahead and change the description. And release static pressure set point. Okay, now that I have all the points that I need to write to and all the points that I need to read to, I'm going to go ahead and select OK. We'll go ahead and let it build in here. Okay, fantastic. So we've got things that are writable. Currently, we've got some things that are in fault here. Most likely, this is in fault just because of some kind of alarm that we have. I'll check that out later. But now that I have everything here that I need, I'm going to go ahead now and get into my services container. And I'm going to go to my user service right here at the top. Go to AX User Manager. And now I have this BACnet user here. And we can see I have a bunch of different roles here. However, we see that the admin role is not checked. So we need to actually do that because if we don't, this BACnet user gets added when we add the BACnet network. However, it doesn't make it an admin. So if it's not selected as admin, we actually can't write to any of the points that we've made writable. So this actually gives the ability for my points to actually have a command sent to them. Go ahead and click OK. All right. So now I've got that part there. Let's go ahead and go back to A2 101. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my BACnet network. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and select Discover, and I'll just send a global. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and bring in this air handler here. I'm just going to name this A201. Actually, we'll just say A202. It's fine. I'll go ahead and select OK. And now I'm going to go ahead in my points. Did I actually give this control? I did. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on my points, create a new points folder and name it control like I did in my other one. Again, I'm just doing this for consistency purposes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and double click on control. And now I'm going to go ahead and click discover. So now it brings up any of the points that I made through BACnet. Go ahead and just select all these and click add. Now, the only ones that I'm going to change are the system enable, which currently is a Boolean point, but I can make it a Boolean writable. When I do, the enable tab goes false, and I'll just go ahead and keep that true. Now I'll go to my set points. Remember, any point that you want to be writable, when you change it to a numeric writable or Boolean writable or enum writable, it will go ahead and disable itself, and you just need to re-enable it. And then once I have that done, I'll go ahead and select OK. And now I have all the points here that I need. Well, that's all I have for you today as far as how to bring this in as a BACnet device. Hopefully, you'll be able to start your integration fairly well. And I hope you have a good one. Take care.